What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival, Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys had a great weekend. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off. I saw this video earlier last week, and I was going to include it in one of the other videos, but I thought I'd wait just because I knew, I knew something else would happen. And so, the media and Biden admin has constantly been gaslighting and demonizing over half of America. They've been doing that for the past 3 years. They want you to believe that anyone that don't agree with them is a violent extremist, racist, white supremacist, whatever it may be. Gaslighting is a type of abuse, commonly in abusive relationships. And gaslighting happens when an abuser tries to control a victim by twisting their sense of reality. An example of gaslighting would be a partner doing something abusive and then denying it happened. Gaslighters may also convince their victims that they're mentally unfit or too sensitive. And so that's what they're trying to do to over half of America on a daily basis almost. Everything they can say, about, teachers are violent extremists. I'm sorry, parents are violent extremists for going to these, parent teachers conferences and, stating their opinions on masks. Everywhere you look, people are white supremacists. Homeland Security said white supremacists is the biggest threat to our society. And so federal authorities are warning of an increase in threats to law enforcement officials following an FBI search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. And so last week, I'm going to show the video that I saw that made me, I was like, wow, but I will going to show it.
On high alert, senior law enforcement officials telling...
Actually, that is not the video.
Sources tell ABC News there's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums.
Sources say there's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums.
Sources also telling ABC News there's been a strong reaction from some extreme groups online, including QAnon and other groups.
There's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums,
including those that were active before January 6th.
Including those that were active prior to January 6th.
Involved in the January 6th insurrections,
including those that were active prior to the January 6th riot.
Some have been calling for violence and even a civil war.
Some of them include calls for violence and even a civil war.
Some of them include calls for
violence in online forums
and even civil war.
This was the top comment on the search on the pro-Trump site The Donald last night. Quote, lock and load with references to a civil war.
Talking very violently about civil war.
Searches for civil war spiked.
They're talking about civil war. Civil war. Civil war.
Civil war. Civil war. Civil war.
This is the kind of violence that led to the...
So you notice that every one of those broadcasts had the same language. They basically copied each other, the same reporting. If you can't tell me that's painting a narrative or like setting something up, I don't want to tell you, so what it says is the threats, which are occurring primarily online and across multiple platforms, including social media sites, web forums, video sharing platforms like YouTube, and image boards, were identified by the FBI and Department of Homeland Security in the days following the FBI's authorized seizure of 11 sets of classified documents from the former president's home, including 4 sets that were classified top secret, according to the unsealed search warrant. And so here's another clip.
On high alert, senior law enforcement officials telling ABC News there's been a notable uptick in threats against agents since the raid at Mar-a-Lago. The chaos coming just 24 hours after FBI Director Christopher Wray was asked if he was worried about violence given the search and what we saw on January 6th.
Violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter what anybody's upset about or who they're upset with.
And David, we just heard from authorities moments ago. They say they tried to negotiate with this suspect, but ultimately he drew his weapon and they shot and killed him. And ABC News has just confirmed from...
So you see Christopher Wray sitting there saying, threats against FBI law enforcement, 5280 Tactical Gear, thanks. And David Cap, thanks, man. I think there will be fake assassination. Yeah, it's possible, man. I'm trying to find his comment so I can pin it so you guys can read it. Anything's possible. I would not. Here you go. I won't put anything past him. So the FBI and and Department of Homeland Security would like to ensure that law enforcement, court, and government personnel are aware of the range of threats and criminal and violent incidents, the memo read. So this was actually a published memo. The internal intelligence memo was shared with state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement officials nationwide late Friday night. According to the bulletin, the FBI and DHS have observed an increase in violent threats posted on social media against federal officials and facilities, including a threat to place a so-called dirty bomb in front of the FBI headquarters, issuing general calls for civil war and armed rebellion. Nelson, thanks, man. Yeah, we're going to talk about that plant evidence here in a minute. So, they're obviously, putting this out there because they want to, like January 6th, and so groups are definitely going to be infiltrated, just like the Governor Whitmer, Michigan, and the FBI pretty much setting that whole up, the kidnap plot, these sort of things that you're going to see the FBI starting to just dabble and infiltrate these groups. They'll probably get in our comment section and stuff like that. I actually had a weird guy send me some messages the other day. I'm like, this is a Fed for sure, but be very careful, guys. There's definitely weird people going on right now, or definitely weird things going on right now. Since 8 August 2022, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security have identified multiple articulated threats and calls for targeted killing of judicial, law enforcement, and government officials with the Palm Beach search, associated with the Palm Beach search, including the federal judge who approved the Palm Beach search warrant. The bulletin continued. The FBI and DHS have also observed the personnel identifying information of possible targets of violence, such as home addresses, identification of family members, and disseminated online as additional targets. So the funny thing about that is that the leftists do this all the time. Whenever Roe v. Wade was overturned, they were actually putting out the home address. There's a guy trying to kill Kavanaugh. There was putting out the addresses of the children's schools of the Supreme Court justices. And that was okay. They actually said, whenever Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about it, she said, people are upset. Well, I guess people are upset that the FBI, raided Mar-a-Lago too. But it only goes the pendulum only swings one way with the Biden administration. Let me see. I got a article clip here. The FBI warns right here. FBI and DHS warn of increased threats to law enforcement and government officials after Mar-a-Lago search. So they're pumping this up seriously, guys. So the assessment noted that 3 days after the search, Ricky Schiffer Jr., wearing a tactical vest and armed with an AR-style rifle and nail gun, attempted to forcibly enter the FBI Cincinnati field office, and it was described as a standoff with FBI and law enforcement officers, and that ultimately resulted in Schiffer's death. So I knew when I saw this, they were going to associate this with the Mar-a-Lago. And here is the video clip from the day it happened.
This, of course, playing out as law enforcement was involved in that tense standoff in Ohio. A standoff, an armed man showing up at the FBI office in Cincinnati, allegedly armed with an AR-15 style weapon and wearing body armor. Here are the pictures. Then fled when confronted by agents leading them in a chase, a gun battle then erupting. The suspect, believed to be wounded for a time, pinned down in a cornfield, roads shut down, people actually ordered to lock their doors in the area. Well, authorities just moments ago revealing the suspect is dead. ABC's Trevor Ault on the scene in Cincinnati.
Tonight, a dramatic hours-long armed shootout and standoff in Ohio after an attempted break-in at an FBI field office. Authorities say just after 9 this morning, a man dressed in body armor with an AR-15 and a nail gun tried to breach the visitor screening facility.
He was armed. He was unsuccessful and he fled that area.
The suspect fleeing 60 miles down a highway in a white Crown Victoria.
They're following a car for the FBI, so there were about 7 units, I believe, on the car.
Officers trying to stop him when the suspect opened.
Mark Fellows, thanks, buddy. Mark hit me up twice, thanks, man. And Reality Check Georgia, keep on, thanks, man. Sure will. So this is what they said earlier today. Hours before Schiffer's standoff, he had appeared to post on former President Donald Trump's True Social platform that he wanted to kill federal agents. The post, which was since been removed by the site's moderators, appeared shortly after the FBI search the former president's Mar-a-Lago residents last Friday. When they come for you, he says, kill them, the suspect wrote. Be an American, not a steer. The Post represents, so this is the article saying this, the Post represents just a fraction of the violent extremist content flooding far-right message boards and social media platforms in the wake of the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago resort. Phrases including civil war, lock and load trending across Telegram channels, Gab, Reddit, and the Donald, a popular forum among Trump supporters. As a result of recent activities, we assess these potential targets of domestic violent extremists. Violence moving forward could include law enforcement, judicial officials, individuals implicated in the conspiracy theories, and perceived ideological opponents who challenge their worldview, and the joint bulletin continues. It's just funny to me that, they never say anything about Antifa doing anything, and anything associated with Donald Trump. Like the Donald Trump, Joe's been in office for 2 years, and we're still every single day. If you go look at All Sides Now, and they'll post like what is the most media covered stories, it's always Donald Trump. Even 2 years after the man's gone, he's out there playing golf, and they're constantly putting him in the news. Like they have nothing else to talk about. Liz Cheney's literally going to lose her seat because she has some death wish for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Yeah, why is everything Trump's fault? I know, man. Thanks. It's also a guy sent me and told me to check out her campaign video, and it was her dad, Dick Cheney, former vice president. And the funny thing about that video is, and you can go look at it, I was going to play it on here, but just go look it up. Dude doesn't blink but one time during their entire video, during the entire speech. Same thing that Joe Biden the other day did. Very odd. No blinking. I blink a lot. I blink probably more than normal people, but older people that are able to hold their eyes open for that, it's just weird. Something's going on. I don't know. Drugs, who knows? So the bulletin also states that the threats seen so far since the search point to the possibility that domestic violent extremists could see the 2022 midterm elections in November as an additional flashpoint around which to escalate threats against perceived ideological opponents, including federal law enforcement personnel. The fact of the matter is the constant gaslighting of conspiracy theories is getting old, especially when most of them become true. Conspiracy theory is usually just something that you have to wait a couple months and it's going to come true. But it's crazy to me because, for example, this was a post by the White House the other day, and it's basically saying the current drop in gas prices is the fastest decline in over a decade, lowering everyday costs for American families. So they're sitting here trying to make you, and people believe this. People believe it. They try to make you believe that this is the lowest it's been lowering every day. Well, yeah, because it went through the roof because you made horrible decisions to shut down pipelines, right? This is not just, it's getting, we're doing great things. And then when you ask Karine Jean-Pierre, they say that the president doesn't control gas. Well, which is it? Do you control it or you don't control it? You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is still skyrocketing, It's also like the Washington Post trying to make Trump supporters sound crazy about pouring bleach. So BleachBit typifies how Trump false claims over GOP rhetoric unchecked. A tip: don't pour bleach on your computer despite what Trump supporters say. So it's not about, pouring bleach. The software is called BleachBit, which is deleting the emails, file deletion. But, they're trying to make Trump supporters sound crazy because they're talking about pouring bleach on there. So on the computer. But, it also just goes into the hypocrisy of this, like the FBI just letting this go, destroying 33,000 classified emails with BleachBit software. If that doesn't get your home search, what does? I've got this other article right here, Politico. Let's talk about planting evidence. Is this the one? That's Newsweek. Politico article right here. And this is what the article says. Talk about planting evidence. In a pathetic and predictable development, supporters of Donald Trump have lobbed an outrageous lie into the public arena. Not the one about the stolen election this time. Another one. The FBI, they claim, planted incriminating evidence at Donald Trump's home. when they searched it earlier this week. That search, pursuant to a lawful warrant authorized by a federal judge, was executed by special agents in the FBI Miami division. Lies for and by Trump are noxious, but they're happening so frequently that we tend to ignore, in some cases, the harm they cause. But, and then also, Newsweek said the same thing. Trump loyalists line up to spread rumor FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago. Well, why do you think that would be even a claim? Well, Trump's attorney said that they made them turn off the video surveillance around the whole house. They would not let the lawyers enter the building. And I mean, I guess I maybe could see that. I don't know. But it would definitely, why would you need to turn off the surveillance? Maybe you don't want to let someone in because they could do something that could tamper. But I mean, if you keep someone eyes on them, keep basically a watcher on that individual, they're not going to be able to do anything. But why would you need to make them turn off video surveillance? That, obviously that's going to lead to that sort of stuff, It's like this tweet here I saw. Being a conspiracy theorist is spending endless hours for years and years gathering as much information as possible from as many resources as possible and critically thinking about what that information means and having people who do nothing but watch TV tell you you're crazy. Now, how many of you guys feel that? I love that lady's tweet. I wanted to share it with you guys. How many ladies feel, or how many guys and ladies feel that where you see the lies, but people will fight you. The social subversion, they'll fight you even when facts are in their face, right? I also agree with this tweet about the FBI right here. For those who just learned the FBI's authoritarian trash, they ran a child porn site to fight child porn, use the NSA to spy on Americans without a warrant, lure unstable people into committing terrorist acts, fail to stop mass shooters despite knowing that they're threats. I agree with this lady too. So the FBI isn't doing anything to stop, these other groups that are vandalizing churches, firebombing pro-life groups, or threatening Supreme Court justice. It's their freedom to, protest, but they have time to go raid Mar-a-Lago because Donald Trump's massive threat to, our national security. It also is like the COOF. A few days ago, the CDC came out and changed their guidelines. Those exposed to the virus are no longer required to quarantine, right? Unvaccinated people now have the same guidance as vaccinated people. So what good did that do? Students can stay in class that are being exposed to the virus. It's no longer recommended to screen those without symptoms. So they now have the same recommendations for people whether they got the vax or chose not to. No testing on asymptomatic people, and those exposed to the COOF no longer need quarantine. So my question is when do the fire troops get their jobs back, right? All those pure-blooded troops, when do they get their jobs back, guys? Because we literally discharged people that wanted to defend freedom because they wouldn't get this, right? Wolf Pastel, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Thanks, buddy. Anything's possible. It's kind of like this. Like if you look at, like this is how the social subversion works. Like this guy right here. My dude's out here on the beach with the freaking mask on, right? He's out there. He's out there by himself on the beach with a freaking mask on. This is how bad they've got people, just tricked, right?
This, of course.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play that. But literally nobody's around them. They got society so brainwashed. And then, just the attack of people. It's not just here in America, it's around the globe. But, as far as like the coup, I don't trust doctors anymore. I mean, you look at this, they lied about tobacco, mercury, opioids, aluminum, talcum. I mean, literally Johnson & Johnson I read yesterday that they're stopping making talcum or baby powder altogether because causing cancer. Sweetener, saturated fats, GMOs, raw milk, cholesterol, fluoride, phosphate. So literally like they know nothing because all these things. I mean, doctors used to literally advocate smoking. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette, like this ad here. So that's the thing, guys. Like, first off, things change and evolve, but the fact of the matter is they wanted to kick guys out of the military, kick nurses and doctors out that refused to get it, kick pilots out that refused to get it, all these sort of things. And now, and I did a video the other day where Fauci basically said that it really doesn't do much, right? And there's some places that are still requiring it. So, thanks again, Mark. Mark says the FBI has become the SS study, early Nazi history. Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of going to talk about it later in the week too, because a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They're asking me about it the other day. And the FBI, there was an executive order signed by Joe Biden to get the FBI to start regulating cryptocurrency. And I'm going to kind of discuss that. So obviously, guys, we're all extremists. You know, I want to be left alone. Look at, we got another extremist on our hands, right? That's us. We just want to be left alone, but that's where we are. So let me get back into the UN. The UN is going after conspiracy theorists. UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories. The world, and that's United Nations, if you didn't know. The world is not secretly manipulated by the global elite. The United Nations has declared war on conspiracy theories, describing the rise of conspiracy thinking as worrying and dangerous, and providing the public with a toolkit to pre-bunk and debunk anybody who dares to suggest the world governments are anything but completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. They literally said that the world's governments are anything but completely honest, upstanding, and transparent. Global elite are conspiring to consolidate power and dictate global events. You must take action. According to UNESCO, if you are certain you have encountered a conspiracy theory on the internet, then you must react. They're saying you must react immediately. Post a relevant link to a fact-checking website in the comments that is owned by freaking far extreme leftists. And most, never mind the fact that most fact checkers are untrained and unqualified people, which we've seen. But they don't want you to question the narrative, to be prepared. They want you to be docile, weak. They want you to be obedient, right? They don't want you to be able to be, protect yourself, self-preservation. They don't want that. They want you to basically be a sheep. They want you to go along with the system, be their good slave. If you have any kind of logical discernment, you will quickly realize that all these things that have been said over the past 3 years, that they've said over the past 3 years, has been BS. You know, hence why, like I said, I don't trust doctors anymore. That they push the juice, and they should know. I mean, they have education and stuff. They should know better. I read today about they're saying that mRNA doesn't ever leave your system. So what is that going to mean in 10 years? How are you going to be feeling? What could possibly happen to you in 10 years? But, you know, we always talk about staying frosty, strapped, and dangerous. And we'll always say that because you can't always wait for someone to come help you. You can't wait for help to arrive. You can't depend on someone else or the government to protect you. There are people out there that want to harm you and do bad things to you. Here's actually a story from my local area. Happened this weekend, and it was local to me. That's why I wanted to talk about it. But a man accused of throwing a woman to the ground, attempting to remove her clothes in the Walgreens. A 30-year-old man has been accused of assaulting a woman in the Divine Street Walgreens around 6 p.m. Inside Walgreens, guys. 6 p.m. on Wednesday evening. Some lady probably just got off work, stopped by Walgreens, thought nothing of it, and then this guy tried to rape her in the middle of the store. According to the Columbia Police Department, Christ Suave Davis is accused of grabbing a 41-year-old woman who was inside the store located on Divine Street. Davis is then accused of throwing the woman to the ground and attempting to remove her clothing, while he also tried to remove his pants, police say. David has been charged with third-degree assault with the intent to commit criminal sexual conduct. So, ladies, stay strapped, right? I know some of you guys, some of you ladies have men, and you think, oh, well, I have a man, I'm going to be safe. Well, your man may not always be around. You may just be getting off work and stop by Walgreens, and some dudes try to rape you in the middle of the store. And guess what? Anybody looking, they're just going to pull out their phone. They're not going to help you. You got to be able to protect yourself, right? You may not be able to call 911 during an attack and wait for police to come. So you need to stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous, right? If you can't carry a pistol, carry a knife, right? Most everywhere you can carry a knife or carry one of our flashlights. We have the new one out. Gosh, I just dropped everything. Anyway, our new BSS V light with a strike bezel there. Flash and smash. That's what we do. That's the technique. And so those just came out, and they got 20% off. Wow. Right now you get it. I don't know how long it is. They just told me it was going to be 20% off for the initial sales of it. So anyway, carry a flashlight, flash them, smash them. This thing will cut your face wide open. There was a guy in New York that had one, and he was on a subway, and he tore a couple dudes' face up with his flashlight. There was another guy who was like walking home, and a guy attacked him, and he destroyed some guy's face with this. So I'll put the links below on that one. This version 5 just came out. Well, actually, I did a video for them that they'll post on their YouTube channel. It may already be there, but once they post it, I'll post it here so you can see it on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel as well. So you cannot always expect someone else to save you. That's what I'm getting to, guys. You got to be able to protect yourself, and stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous, be ready to commit violence when you need to protect yourself and your family, right? Or some innocent bystander. If you see someone getting attacked, don't just record them. Go stop it from happening, right? Kathy Urban, I'm in a fight with people that are trying to get rid of the FBI, USDA, and FDA, and the IRS. Yeah, get rid of all of them. USDA is the most pointless group in America, along with the IRS. FDA too, you know. FBI, yeah, you're right, all of them. Let me show you one more thing, guys. We've had this belt for quite some time. This is a good belt, and it's designed because we have the concealment belt, which is a concealed carry belt, but this is the OG belt, like original gangster, but it means overt gun belt. And so what it is it's got an inner belt, outer belt, has hidden pockets on the inside so you can hide escape tools. And then, so basically you can change over from going concealed to overt within a few seconds, carry the rig in your truck, and you can change from your concealed pistol into an overt carry. So as you can see here, it's in the concealed position. It's got a Velcro inner belt. Take the concealed pistol and put it into the overt holster. And there's our med kit right there. So yeah, guys, I just want to show that belt because I've not showed it on a video before. People were asking about it, and I wanted to let everyone see that. But basically, it's designed to be able to get into a concealed to overt, let's say active shooter, all hell breaks loose, whatever it is. Anyhow, guys, I just wanted to do that. I'm going to try to put a little bit more content this week, and because there's a few stories I want to do. Some of them, they don't really go together. I try to make these late night lives where everything kind of goes together, like the subject matter. I mean, there may be some off stuff, but I want to keep everything kind of in line. But there's a few stories that kind of, I think, need their own video and may not be a full late night live sequence. So I'm going to do that this week. Yeah, don't buy these. Someone is, don't buy 511. Don't buy these Chinese belts. You can buy American. The thing is like, well, let me say that for a second too. There's a lot of companies that sell Chinese things. There's a lot of companies that sells American things. We try to sell all our stuff American as much as we can. Some things you can't get made in America. Some things aren't made that well in America. I'm not going to sell a subpar product. There was a product years ago that we used to sell, and I could not get a good American made one, so I had to get one overseas. I think it was Taiwan. But the thing is I say that. Now, for the flashlights, obviously there are manufacturers who make American-made flashlights. Now, some of those companies, they give money to Democrat anti-gun politicians, so I cannot work with them. And also, whenever I try to touch base with them about designing a flashlight, they wouldn't have anything to do with me. There's many companies that would not have anything to do with me. The only company that would work with me was Through Night, right? So I contacted many companies. These are only people that work with me on my flashlight design. So that's why I make my flashlight with them. So you can go a lot of routes. Obviously, I don't want to support anti-gun politicians. So that's what it is. But a lot of people ask me about that. And I don't technically sell this light. They sell it themselves. I just design it for them. And they're the only people that can make it happen, right? I don't have the millions of dollars to make a flashlight. You have to have lots of equipment. I mean, you're looking at $1 million, patents and all kinds of stuff. Red liner, can we get an updated EDC on the body and bag? Vid for modern times. Flash and smash would be a new t-shirt. Yeah, that is good. That is a good t-shirt design. I need to remember that. So yeah, and I wanted to make an affordable light because lights are very expensive. I wanted to make something that everybody could get their hands on because I want you to be able to defend yourself. You know, a $200 flashlight is hard to do for a lot of people. And flashlight technology. The other thing is that with technology, I don't like to spend a lot of money on technology because it's ever evolving. So if you buy a $200 flashlight and in 2 years that flashlight is no good. I have a bunch of old Surefires who I'll never support again, but their flashlight technology is so far back compared to, you know what I mean? Because technology evolves. So we'll talk about digital currency. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Somebody said digital currency does not exist. I also agree with that. But we're going to talk about that probably this week as well. I'm going to talk about the executive order. I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin cryptocurrency as what I think about it, because a lot of people ask about it. I don't really agree with it. And I'll kind of get into details as to why. Everything has outliers. Obviously, some people got rich off of it. But anyhow, I don't want to get too far into that. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Please go comment on the video. Once it posts, help me fight the algorithm, help me fight the commies. Anyhow, guys, as always, thanks for watching Black Scout Survival. Stay frosty, strapped, and dangerous. Good night.